Welcome back. I'm Christian Shreve, continuing our series on what young aspiring fighters and the people close to them need to know. Listen, this is about brand recognition. We're talking about sponsors. We're talking about promoters. We're talking about the things that you need to know. Okay, so I have my little product X, and I'm looking for someone to market this. Again, what do I want? I want clear interviews. We have a segment on that. I don't necessarily need the best fighter in the world, but I need one that's going to pay me for my effort. You know, there's a fighter in mixed martial arts who is about the most amusing guy to listen to. His name is Jason Miller. He's known by the moniker of Mayhem. He got a television show, Bully Beatdown. Now, if he'd been the greatest fighter in the world, but he'd been stiff and stoic in front of a camera, it never would have happened. People pay and tune in to see this guy. It doesn't matter that he didn't go 20-0 out of the gate, or that he didn't hold a title like Anderson Silva does now. By the way, for those of you who follow mixed martial arts, Anderson Silva was on the fence. The biggest organization that collapsed, allowing the UFC to take pole position again, was out of Japan, and it was Pride. They cut Anderson Silva, and after that, he became a public persona, wearing a pimp outfit and dancing his way to the ring for a while, until he got his name recognition. And that's what you need. Now, when a promoter sits with you and they say, they're assembling their cards, maybe they have a contract with you, and they're saying, okay, so they'll usually show up day before, 2 days before, you're sitting in your motel room being expected to rest. Hopefully you're not cutting a bunch of weight right before the fight. That's a lack of preparation if you're doing it right before a fight. But you're sitting there, they come in, they go, what am I to expect? What they want to hear is simple. And you say this. You say, man, I don't know what's going to happen. I plan on winning, but I don't know what's going to happen. But I promise you this. I'm going to go right after that person. In my game plan, whether I'm mover or moving back or moving forward, I'm going to be attacking constantly. I'm going to be going after them. I'm going to give the fans the best fight that they've ever seen. And this guy will never forget the day that he made the mistake of getting in the ring with me. If you talk that way, you practice it. Practice it by yourself if you're awkward, and then practice it in front of people. Practice it in front of your iPhone. Practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it, until you can carry this off. And I'll tell you, that promoter is going to go, that's a good interview. That's a good talent. This guy is going to fill the seats. This guy is going to fill the seats. You know, fighting is not way off from a management perspective of the music business. And there was a time when Britney Spears was outselling everyone. Now, she's a beautiful gal. She's been successful, but she had a very limited vocal range, and all her songs were basically in the pop modality. But her albums were outselling the Beatles, Aerosmith, Andrea Bocelli, whatever your interests are, even and most of the big rap ones as well, for a while. And people say, what in the world? Entertainment. It's entertainment. If you're in the fight business, you're in the entertainment business. So get used to being able to say what the promoters want to hear. They're your bosses. The promoters are your bosses. So get used to saying it. Say that with the sponsors. Your interview with this should sound something like this. The reason that you should select me is. Now, you're not going to say because I work hard. You're not going to say that. We've covered this elsewhere. You're not going to say because I'm disciplined and because I'm going to do the best job for you that I can, or because I have courage, or because I have talent, or because I have technique. Everyone on their list has that, or else they wouldn't be dealing with you. Listen, there's that, and there's the most important thing that they want to hear, and that is this. Because I'm going to make you money. My job is to make you money. I'm going to make your product look good. I'm going to make it look exciting. People are going to associate product X, your product, with excitement. And another thing, fighters, or management of fighters, those looking to see your guy, a lot of wives are stepping in and are helping now, and husbands are starting to pick that up too. In fact, they have been for a while for the female fighters. You learn about the company. I understand that you guys started 7 years ago. I understand that you were just a startup, and now you have 30% of the market share. I want to see it 50%. I'm going to do so much for you guys that we are going to ride off in the sunset together. That's what they want to hear. You have to believe it. You make yourself believe it. But that's what you want to hear. That's what you make happen. And when you're dealing with a promoter for initial negotiations, you walk in, you shake their hand, and you smile. But there's a technique for this. There's a technique. Now, perhaps the single best representative for a professional prize fighter of all time was named Mike Trainer. And Mike Trainer worked with the Olympic gold medalist Sugar Ray Leonard when he was turning pro. Now, most of us know that since 1980, the number one, considered the number one prize fighter from 1980, certainly in my eyes, over the last 35 years, has been Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, you can look at anyone else, but I believe that he is tactically the most versatile fighter, but he's also the most successful, or one of the most successful in business. And here's how his approach went with promoters. He'd go in, he was right out of the Olympics, and he hadn't wanted to turn pro, but he had to take care of his family. And his father, whose health was less than on par. And he walked in and he smiled, and he nodded his head. And he wouldn't say hardly anything to the promoter, who was Bob Arum. And then he would leave the room, and he would write his questions down, his comments down, and he would give them to his representative, Mike Trainer, who would take them back in, and he would turn them over. And that's how it got handled. You're not expected to be as sharp as these guys. You're just another commodity to them. We're going to go through how promoters see you in a minute. But realize this is your game to lose. And you lose by letting things out of your mouth and with your behavior. That's what you do. That's how you blow these. So I hope this gives you somewhat of a fundamental idea with interviews and with image. One of the things that you have to remember is that when you're in public, there, especially in today's today where we have the iPhone and things, you have to assume that that your phone is being listened to, that your messages are being heard, that the waitress at the restaurant could make a call to a reporter, that anything can hurt you, anything can be taken out of context, and your job is to be a public figure. If you own that, the money will come to you. So you smile. If you have a prison record, that's your strength. Man, I'm so glad that I spent that time, because it enabled me to become. It enabled me to overcome, and this is my message. I've been an addict and an alcoholic. And the overcoming of that gave me the strength to, whatever your weakness is, that is your message for your strength. That's what you give to sponsors, because they're going to ask you, well, what about this? I see this conviction here. I see this. You don't get defensive. You say, you know what? I have made my mistakes, and they have, overcoming those has turned me into the example for children, for everyone that I am today, and I'm going to make your company look great. And if you follow that format, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. You're going to get the deal when the other fighter, maybe the better established fighter, won't. Because in this game, you can lose a match, sound good in an interview, lose a fight, and make much more money the next time around. And for people who dispute this, Mike Alvarado is a very good boxer, and he just defeated in a rematch a fighter named Brandon Rios, who gives good interviews. Who gets called up to make more money than they could ever spend in a lifetime? Rios, because he gives great interviews. He's the one facing Manny Pacquiao in the comebacking fight. He's the one who's going to be making millions of dollars, and it's because of his interview ability, not his fighting ability. So just remember that. Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. I'm Christian Shreve, and I'm here to tell you about why I think you should own my new book, Money Boxing, which is on sale now. Money Boxing has something for everyone, whether or not you know anything about boxing. You're about to receive a backstage pass into a world of glamour, corruption, and intrigue. And you're going to learn about the system, which is the only thing the casinos have had to fear in a long time. You can own money boxing by clicking on the link below now. I think you'll like it.